Ever notice how the exact moment you start doing better than the people around you, the whole atmosphere in the room just kind of shifts? Welcome to This Explainer. Let's dive right in today, because we're unpacking a truly unsettling reality. See, achieving success doesn't just attract exciting new opportunities, it fundamentally changes how people treat you. And honestly, nobody warns you about this. We're going to explore the deeply hidden psychology behind why outpacing the pack often comes with a really heavy, totally unexpected price tag.
Section 1. The hidden cost of success. When you start growing, you rarely face these massive, dramatic movie scene confrontations. It's not like that. Instead, you're hit with a collection of really quiet side effects. You might start noticing that the compliments you get suddenly become just a little bit shorter. The replies to your texts or emails, they take just a little bit longer to come through. And when you share some genuinely good news, the smiles on the faces of people you really care about somehow stop reaching their eyes. It's a genuinely jarring experience. I mean, you haven't changed how you treat them at all, yet the entire dynamic has flipped. And that brings us to the core mystery we need to solve today. Why does success attract resentment? Why is it that the very same people who literally cheered for you when you were starting out suddenly seem to be quietly hoping that you fall?
Well, to understand this, we have to look past the surface. This reaction is driven by an invisible force buried super deep inside human nature. And I want to assure you right now, if you are experiencing this, it has absolutely nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with you suddenly becoming arrogant, and it definitely has nothing to do with anything you did wrong. It's actually driven by a psychological force running in the background of human relationships. It's a force most people carry around their entire lives without ever once putting a name to it.
That brings us perfectly to Section 2, the social comparison trap. Let's dig into the evolutionary science behind this whole phenomenon. Psychology tells us something really fascinating. Human beings do not measure themselves in a vacuum. We measure ourselves by who we are standing next to. It's called social comparison. And it is constantly running in the background of almost every relationship you have, and honestly, every single time you scroll through a social media feed. Think about it. For most of human history, when we were living in ancient tribes, knowing your precise position in the group literally determined your access to food, shelter, and basic survival. Because of this, your brain is hardwired to view a peer's sudden elevation as a direct threat to your own survival resources. It's still running this exact same math today, every single day, completely without asking for your permission. Imagine two people. They're from the exact same neighborhood, starting from the exact same point. At time one, they're equals. This equality feels incredibly comfortable. It feels safe to our tribal brains. But at time two, one person begins to grow. They wake up earlier, they start reading, they're putting in the work while the other person is just sitting on the couch scrolling. Their life moves, creating what we call the gap. And finally, at time three, this gap turns into resentment. Why? Because the gap doesn't just feel slightly uncomfortable to the other person. It feels like a literal accusation. It's this unspoken message screaming at them. You could have done this too. The potential was right there. The choice was available, but you didn't take it. Moving on to Section 3, strangers versus childhood friends. Let's look at why this threat response is highly selective, based almost entirely on proximity and history. So a billionaire on a screen is super easy to dismiss, right? They exist in a totally different world, so their massive wealth and success don't challenge your own sense of self at all. But a childhood friend? The kid who sat right next to you in middle school math class, who grew up with the same, or maybe even fewer, resources than you did? Oh, that hits completely differently. They used to be your equal. Their success highlights that the social hierarchy has changed, and human beings are exquisitely, painfully sensitive to shifting hierarchies close to home. Your success doesn't threaten them, it reminds them. And honestly, that reminder is the cruelest part. Now, what makes this so incredibly dangerous is that resentment almost never shows its real face. It wears a disguise. People aren't going to just bluntly look at you and say, "Hey, I'm jealous of you." No way. Instead, they say, "Well, I'm just being realistic." Or the absolute classic, and we all have a friend who uses this one, "I'm just looking out for you." They might tell you, "Hey, don't get ahead of yourself." You'll notice they start subtly downplaying your big wins, or they over-explain your losses to make them seem totally inevitable, or worse, they just go completely radio silent when you succeed. Make no mistake, these are subtle masks perfectly designed to make you second-guess your own momentum. So why do they do this? Because sometimes they are literally just waiting for you to stumble. Deep down, your failure would actually be a massive relief to them.
And it's not because they're evil or because they want to see you destroyed. It's because your failure saves them from having to ask themselves one incredibly hard, painful question. Why haven't I moved? If you fall back down to their level, they can instantly stop asking themselves that. Hoping for your failure is really just a defense mechanism to protect their own ego. Which brings us to section 4, the danger of shrinking. We really need to talk about the terrible trap most people fall into when faced with this quiet resentment. I want you to really listen to this quote. Smallness doesn't protect you. It just makes you invisible while you disappear. This right here is the tragic personal cost of trying to manage other people's insecurities. You start feeling the discomfort you're causing others, you automatically assume something is wrong with you, and you try to fix it by making yourself smaller. You become a little quieter, a little less visible, and way less threatening, just to keep your old friends comfortable. But shrinking yourself is a massive trap. It doesn't actually save the relationship, it just guarantees that you abandon your own true potential. Eventually, you have to come to a really difficult realization about the people around you. Some people offer support, but only for your harmless dreams. They absolutely love your dreams when they are just words. They support you unconditionally when your goals are safely, conveniently out of reach. But the very second those dreams become real, the moment you become real and actually achieve them, something in the relationship breaks. And that leads to our final section. Success is a mirror. How do we actually find the right environment and stop performing this fake humility? All right, here is your actionable roadmap for finding your true environment, and I really want you to take this to heart. Step 1, don't hide or apologize for your growth. Own it entirely. Step 2, get extremely precise about your environment. You have to start actively curating who gets access to your energy. And step 3, choose people who are absolutely lit up by your success. The people who are right for the next big chapter of your life won't flinch when you grow. They will match it. You've got to learn to tell the difference between people who are genuinely secure in themselves and people who are just holding their breath, waiting for you to stop outpacing them. The absolutely crucial point is this. Success reveals who wanted you happy and who wanted you to stay exactly the same. Success is a mirror that absolutely does not lie. It shows you exactly who pops the champagne when you win and who subtly tries to pull you back down. The resentment of others isn't actually your obstacle here. Your only real obstacle is letting that resentment make you afraid to keep growing. I want to leave you with a final provocative thought today. Really chew on this for a moment. Are you shrinking to protect them, or are you growing to find yourself? Every single time you perform smallness just to protect someone else's fragile self-image, you are betraying your own capability. Please, don't be afraid to outperform. Embrace the mirror of success, let it show you who truly belongs in your next chapter, and whatever you do, keep moving forward.